Okay, so now when our Firebase config.js is ready, let's save this file and let's go to again to the Webpack config, and let's include our Firebase config in Webpack. So you want to go to the resolve section and add another entry here. Let's go to Firebase config, and let's refer to our newly created file. So let's go to config firebase.config.js. Okay, so this should do. It should allow these exported constants from the config to be included in our project. So let's save this file as well. Okay, so now let's test it out. Let's go to our source components hello world folder, and let's actually import the object we've previously exported from the Firebase config.js. So in this case, the firebase.db, sorry, Firebase DB. So I'm going to copy this, and I'm just going to import it from Firebase config. Now, why Firebase config? Because we named it Firebase config right here in the Webpack base of the configuration. And let's see what our console log will show us. So now I've got to start the project. So npm run development, and let's go ahead, go to localhost 8080, and let's see our console. Right, we have some problems here in the console, and it is related to our Lodash previously installed. Seems like you can't find Lodash library. Let's go to our main.js and check here. I guess we made this mistake by using VueFire with Lodash. We shouldn't be doing that. So let's use VueFire separately from Lodash. Let's reload the page, and it looks good. In the console we have the previous statement from Lodash, and also we have our database. Okay, so let's go back to our text editor, and now I'm going to show you how to create another shortcut, and this shortcut will help us to get to the project object in our database. So let's go with Firebase projects, and now let's make it an extension of Firebase DB. So let's make an extension of the application database. So it refers to application database. Now let's make a reference, and we're referring to projects, right? So that's a projects object in our database. So what we don't want to do here is quickly get a shortcut to this object right here. So as you remember, I've created this object previously, and let's actually add a few more things here. Let's add the title. So testing project, and let's add also an author. Let's call it Greg. Okay, let's now import this newly created object to our template. Now at this point we could also console log it. So let's see what we're gonna get from console log. We have a warning that the Firebase DB is defined but never used, but that's okay. So yeah, so this is working. We have our key. We can start looking into the project's object. Okay, so let's go back and first of all let's delete this object. We won't be using it. And now let's call something called Firebase object, and Firebase will help us to refer to the database easily. So let's assign the project to our Firebase projects object, and this way we can use projects object in our template, and I'm going to show you what we can do with it. So in this case we're going to just delete this console log, and we're going to change this template a bit. So bear with me. If you remember last time we were using a semantic UI. So let me show you what semantic UI can do for us in this case. So what we're going to be looking for is a component called grid. It's right here on the left, and what we want to do here is get these this basic grid and reuse this in our project. So for now, let's just keep this as it is, and let's just add the grid component at the top. Also, we won't be needing all these. We're just going to be needing the basic structure, and I'm going to show you some clever things that Vue JS allows us to do with the projects object. With basically any object, but in this case we want to display the projects from our database. So for now we have only one project called testing. We want to display the basic information about this project, so the project title, description, and author. And for this reason we're going to use a Vue object called v4. So v4 is quite clever. And v4 stands for looping through a specific object. Let's call projects. So for a project in projects, we also have to bind a key to our loop. It is important, but not necessary. I like to have I have to have a key. So every project will have a segment. Segment is a component from semantic again, So let's make it this way. Let's create segments here. And inside of the segments, we're going to have a segment responsible for the project title. And this project title, we're going to have an inverted segment. Inverted means that it will change the color from basic white to black, or from inverted red to some kind of different color. And now we're going to have a double set of curly brackets, and we're gonna display the project title right here in the paragraphs. So let's actually copy that, and let's have another folder, sorry, another segment, and this segment will show us the author. So that's simple project author, and we're gonna have a description here, and that should be it. Let's make this column a bit wider, 8 wide column, and let's make this grid centered, 2 wide, actually 2 column wide this way. So now let's go and look back. Let's double check here. Something's we have a problem here. There seems to be an unexpected token, and now this is because we didn't provide a comma here after the Firebase object. So let's make sure that it's there. Now this was built. Let's check the results, and here it is. So this is the title of our testing project. Author is Greg, and the testing description is our description. So that's about it. We've managed to create a new project in Firebase. Managed to create a database with project object and one project. And we also managed to install VueFire and Firebase in our application, create the config file, include the config file in Webpack, and also test out the implementation, the installation with a simple template, which is connecting to our database and fetching the project's object and displaying all the projects here in this nifty template.